Your voice, your opinion, your community. Fact TV, free speech, protected.
What year was the first Children of the Corn released?
1984.
When did part 2 come out?
1992.
Why so soon?
Money.
All this and more on Gory Story Time.
Warning. Gory Storytime is a horror movie review show by a son and his dad who thought that letting his 5-year-old watch scary movies was acceptable. If you are offended by horror or talk about blood and gore by a child, or if you don't want horror movies from the 60s through today spoiled, then there is a remote stuck in your couch cushion next to potato chip crumbs. Use it. And of course, parental discretion is advised.
Why? You didn't use any.
Shut up and start the show.
Welcome to Gory Story Time. I'm your host, Jason.
I'm his co-host and his father, Craig. And this week, as you can see with the poster behind us, we're reviewing Children of the Corn 2, The Final Harvest.
Yes.
In a series of 9 movies, 2 thought it was the final one.
Heck, 1 could have very well been.
I mean, we'll get into that. But, so here's the basic premise. There's children who killed all their parents and then had a cult that they worshipped a demon that lived in the corn. This is in the aftermath of the first movie when those kids that survived basically are being moved to a close-by town and getting adopted by new families, and some of them haven't changed their ways. And some people in the town are worried that they haven't changed their ways. That's about the premise, right?
And then it's another Children of the Corn
And then
movie.
there's a guy. The main story is there's a guy with his son that they don't really get along very well, and he's trying to spend time with him. And he's a reporter, but for like one of those Inquirer type magazines or World Weekly News type, like not something that's held in high regard, especially in the 90s. And he's trying to figure out what's going on. Yeah, basically. Sounds about like the whole premise, right?
I'd say so.
There's more, but I don't want to spoil
but
everything in the premise.
Yeah.
Yeah, so why don't we show you the trailer so you can know exactly what we're talking about?
We have just witnessed a terrible tragedy.
It all began here. In these fields. With the children of the corn.
What happened is over, Mrs. Burke. It's over.
Well, a bunch of kids killed all the adults in town. Just your basic Sunday afternoon in the Bible Belt.
But the adult's nightmare isn't over yet.
People are actually worried about problems with our sweet, innocent children.
There's something out there. There's something. It's evil. It's gotten a hold of our children.
Did you see what happened? The blood was for the corn.
Based on the shocking short story from Master of Horror Stephen King.
Have you ever seen evil? It works through the children.
This is Children of the Corn 2.
Walks behind the rows commands that we rid the land of all that defileth the corn.
I don't want you hanging around with these kids around here.
They were adults. We have seen the way of that world, and it is evil. There is a power greater than all, and it is within us.
She warned you. She warned all of you.
The blood of those that defileth the corn must flow into the earth. We are one. We are one. We are one. Did you really think that he who walks behind the rows would allow you to escape. She is the first to be sacrificed.
Children of the Corn 2, the final sacrifice.
It's fun to play at night.
Well, now you've seen the movie. We can't possibly spoil anything for you.
I mean, he was pointing out while the trailer was playing, they basically show parts of every single kill in this movie. People need to do better with trailers in so many cases, especially in movies of a certain age. It's like, you don't have to give everything away to get people interested.
Right.
You give away enough to tease it, you know?
That's really bothered me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So cool.
Like, some of the best trailers are teasers.
Oh, yeah.
One of my now, the movie wasn't great, but one of my favorite teasers was from Terminator 3. Literally, it was just the letter, it was just some of that
liquid metal.
It was like the Warner Brothers logo or whatever. I believe it was Warner Brothers, and it melted down into a pool of that liquid metal, and then formed a T with a 3 cut out. Showed nothing. You didn't hear a sound or a voice or anything, and then
that's all you needed to see of the third movie.
And everybody cheered in the theater.
And that's all you needed to see of the third movie.
Of course, for the first movie, you need to give someone some, but this is part 2. What this should be is like, hey, some of those kids are still alive. The story continues. Like, that's all you need.
That's it. That's the end
of
the trailer.
Anyway, Gory Story Time is a show where we talk about horror movies, but the reason we do that is so we can make money. And how do we make money? By pimping out ourselves to any big company that wants to write us a check.
Yes.
This week, we got a sack of wooden nickels to promote these items. Let's see. Gory Story Time is brought to you by the unofficial Stephen King joke book. It's exactly what it sounds like. Jokes based on the works of Stephen King. But wait, you say, those books and movies aren't very funny. To which we retort, neither are the jokes. Here are some examples. What are the names of the Grady twins? Kate and Duplicate. Or how about a man takes his dog to the vet and says, does my dog have rabies? The vet says, short answer, yes. The man says, well, what's the long answer? He said, yes. See, the unofficial Stephen King joke book. Don't be corny, be children of the corny.
Ah ha ha. Yes, and by the Corn Association of America, who wants to remind you that corn is amazing. Such a versatile crop.
Amazing. Get it?
Yes. Want something that tastes good with butter? Corn. Want a snack? Popcorn. Want cereal? Corn is in many of your favorites. Looking for a substitute for sugar? Yep, corn. You just want to eat something that looks the same when it leaves your body? You guessed it, corn. The Corn Association of America. Just eat some corn.
Sounds
I don't like their
right.
slogan.
Listen. You don't like their slogan.
I don't like their slogan.
All right. Now, here's the part where we break down 20 facts from behind the scenes of the movie. Now, do you want to go first or do you want me to? Or wait, sorry. Which Jason likes to call the meat and beef of the show.
Or like Jason likes to call the meat and beef of the show.
You're not supposed to say Jason. You're supposed to say I, dummy.
I am Jason.
That's also wrong. Anyway.
You can go first.
All right. Former New World exec Larry Cuppen picked up the filming rights and quickly formed Transatlantic Entertainment with the specific purpose of making sequels to New World Picture movies. The initial lineup was going to be Hellraiser 3, Children of the Corn 2, and Avenging Angel 4.
I have heard of 2 of those.
And watched 1.
Yeah, I didn't make it past the first Hellraiser.
See?
This would be the last Children of the Corn sequel to get a theatrical release, as every sequel that would follow went straight to video.
Which is funny, because it was the first sequel and last to be released in the theaters. Terrence Knox and Rosalind Allen, who play love interests in the film, did not like each other, and it took a lot of convincing to get them to do the lovemaking scene. Alan agreed to do it if they could get it in 3 shots, and they did.
All right. For the nosebleed scene, they had tubes that pumped fake blood through the frame of the glasses. Then they angled it so it looked like the blood was coming out of his nose and not the glasses. That's cool. That's actually really cool.
Yeah. In 2016, in an interview with Deadline Hollywood News, Stephen King said that he could have done without the Children of the Corn sequels.
I mean, that makes sense. The town hall that was torched was actually a house the local fire department had selected to use for training.
Both this film and Hellraiser 3: Hell on Earth were shot back-to-back using the same crew to save money.
Yikes. David Price met Mark Jones on the set. They became good friends and got along. Price would produce Jones.
Became good friends and got along?
Yes.
That is written poorly.
Yes. Would produce Jones's directorial debut film, Leprechaun.
In 1992, the same year. I liked Leprechaun.
Leprechaun's good.
We haven't done the sequels to that. Sometime we should get into some of those. I think we did some of the
One
like
or two
wacky,
of the
like
sequels?
the.
I've never seen him go to
Hood.
space.
We did like in the Hood though.
I didn't watch the one where he was a wrestler.
What?
Origins.
Oh,
It's
I didn't know
WWF movie. Or WWE movie.
That's not because he was a wrestler. It's because they had a wrestler act in it.
Yeah. Duh.
You're dumb. Anyway, okay. The school interior was actually a grade school. They filmed it in August and were able to mess it up as long as everything was repaired before classes started.
Huh. The tornado in the movie was done by pumping smoke into a bathtub and playing the footage at a slow speed upside down. That would be the same technique used for Independence Day in '96, used for the entrance for the ship, for the alien ship. Yeah.
Back when they did real special effects, not all digital.
Yeah, and it looks cool. So
the footage
whatever.
of the thing under the dirt was taken from the first film. They needed something to make the chase scene a little more intense.
I felt like it was a little out of place because it wasn't cutting back and forth between something that made sense.
Mm-hmm.
It looked cool though.
Yeah.
For Mrs. Burke's death scene, someone in town was actually moving their house, and the team convinced them to delay their move a week so you could shoot the scene.
Aside from the main cast, the town folks and kids were all played by local extras.
When Miss West was killed, they originally wanted to have her get crushed under a truckload of corn. They liked the idea of her smashing through a window better. Well, great call.
In the DVD commentary, David Price said the ending involving Red Bear painting a stone was added at the last minute. Originally, it involved John Garnett making a phone call to his tabloid at a phone booth by the side of the road, only to have it swallowed into the earth by he who walks behind the rose, killing him. This was scrapped because of budget restraints.
Well, Christy Clark previously appeared in A Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge, in '85. Both films are the first sequels to horror films released in '84.
That's a stretch to care.
Yeah.
The actors that play father and son, Garrett and Danny, were born the same day, 22 years apart.
Wow.
Yeah.
The film was released in '92 in Germany and in theaters by Dimension Films in January '93, but the video release was handled by Paramount Pictures. What the heck?
Yeah. That is some sort of cluster.
Yeah.
David Price got the directing job after producers saw his movie Son of Darkness to Die For 2.
Okay.
I don't know.
The first time we see John Garrett's car, it seems clean and bright. A few minutes later, when they're stopped near the town, the car is dirty with mud. And at the next shot, when the car enters the town, the car appears clean and bright again.
Well, that's odd.
All right, so...
Now, we usually like to tell you the Rotten Tomato score from, he'll tell you what the
critics
say, and then I will explain what's going on over here on the people's side.
Yeah.
For those who don't know, they take the positive review, they tell you the percentage of positive reviews from real critics and the positive reviews from fans on the site. And what did the critics' consensus say?
With a whopping 10 reviews, it was a 30%.
Yeah. 3 out of 10 liked it.
Literally.
The people with 10,000 reviews wasn't enough to give a percentage.
Over 10,000.
Over 10,000.
It's a 10,000 plus.
So 10 reviews was enough to give a consensus on the critic side. 10,000 wasn't enough for a consensus on the people's side. That makes sense. That doesn't sound stupid at all.
That's a really big letdown.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to go through and count them, but it's like, that's over 10,000 I'd have to go through and count.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
I'm not doing that. I've done it when it was like
we're not
15.
Sure if they're trying to hide something, because like maybe it's more positive than they're willing to give this movie credit, so they're like, we just won't tell them.
But that's weird too.
Especially since like the first 20 you went through, it didn't look like it was going well.
Yeah, right.
Like
well, out of the first
20,
it was 35%.
Yeah.
I don't imagine it went very much higher than that.
Right. Who knows? We'll never know because I don't care enough to do that kind of legwork. Anyway.
Legwork.
Counting? 10,000 of them?
That's not legs. That's thumbs, dummy. Legwork. Like he's going to get
He
up
graduated high school and doesn't know what words mean.
I know exactly what words mean.
Legwork.
Leg is the thing that you stand on.
I apologize for the lack of intelligence that my son is showing. For anyone out there that understands and comprehends, well,
Yeah,
that's the
all
same.
right.
He does neither.
The
English
or
language.
the other one down below of that word that he
the word
said.
legwork. Not
Legwork.
the word leg.
Not the word leg.
Not leg day.
Not leg day.
Anyway, what was, since you ended up liking this movie, what was your least favorite part of this movie?
Well, so it basically showed the entire situation in the trailer, just in 2 different shots. But there's a van that pulls off into the cornfield, and then one of the guys gets spiked through the face with a corn stalk.
It was kind of corny looking.
It was stupid. Well, it was rather dumb in my opinion because it did nothing. We could have just not met those characters, and then that scene wouldn't have needed to happen.
They had footage, and they were going to put it on TV, and he who walks behind the rose took them out so that they wouldn't. That was the intent of this. It makes sense.
It was kind of a dumb thing.
Just a sudden corn stalk without wind throwing itself through your windshield and stabbing you in the face isn't very realistic.
I'm not necessarily going for 100% realism.
My least favorite thing about this isn't that they made it, but it's that it led them to believe they should keep going. There are 9 of these. This one was decent, in my opinion. But there are 9 of these.
It was definitely a step down from the first one.
It wasn't that bad.
No, but it wasn't as good as the first one.
The first one had some stuff that dragged, too.
Yeah.
This didn't drag as much.
No.
So, like...
But I think that the first one's better.
I mean, it's the one based on the story.
No, Dad. All 11?
I mean, there's 9 that are canon to one timeline.
And
anyway.
then 2 remakes?
Yeah. So, anyway, like, we're probably going to watch more. Depending on how it goes, we might not ever report back here about that. But so I said what my issue was this led them to believe they should keep going.
And it's like, it was decent.
If it was a 2-pack, I'd be good.
Kind of.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, all
3-pack if it gave me one of the remakes.
Sure. Like,
I'll check out a remake. Because it's just going to be the same story.
I mean, something like
Hopefully.
that. Well. So what was your favorite scene?
All right. Well,
or favorite thing?
We kind of talked about it. They called it the nosebleed scene, and I suppose that's a fine assessment of the scene. But they're sitting in church, and this guy just starts sprouting blood out of his face and out of his ears and whatnot. Mm-hmm. And it is... Well, it made me uncomfortable, that's for sure. It made me feel
You know what
so
it reminded me
bad.
of, even though this came first, was I don't know if anyone out there has seen the show Oz, but in season 1, there is someone that
Oh my goodness.
is fed ground up glass.
For weeks.
Yes, like small amounts, and all of a sudden just starts
Bleeding out of his ears.
blood everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very similar.
The effect was very similar. That kind of ties into what my favorite part is, the special effects.
The special effects
I
were
am a
on
huge
point.
fan of practical effects, and this was all that. Yeah, they cut to some footage from the first one that was
Where they
a
used
practical effect.
effects in the first one, right. Yeah.
They had to color correct it to make it match this one, though.
But not by a lot, because I don't think that they cared
the
about
first
that.
one was cut. I mean, they did. But no, I think the practical effects were good, with the exception of the flying corn stalk.
Because it was
corny.
stupid.
Well, it just didn't look good.
It didn't.
It's like, I love the special effects in Nightmare on Elm Street, but when he stretches his arms across the whole alleyway,
Right, nope.
that looked
Nope.
dumb.
It looked like him holding things that extended
You know those
his arms.
little tunnels that you put on the ground for babies to crawl through?
It looked like those.
It looked like those with hands on each end. Anyway, but that's something we've already talked about, because I think that was my
was our
complaint
very
from the
first
first
episode.
episode. Yeah, go back and check that out. Anyway.
I was smaller.
He was 13. He's turning 23 in a couple days from when we're recording this.
Oh my
By the
goodness.
time this is posted, if you're seeing this not like
If
live,
you're seeing this after the Super Bowl,
then
then I'm 23 years old.
He's been like 10 years, not quite 10 years doing this, but almost. By in another month, it'll be a 10-year anniversary. We should probably do something for that, separate from 300.
Anywho, that is.
On a scale of 1 to 10, what would you rate this?
I'm gonna give it a 7.
Yeah, here's the thing.
Definitely not a 3.
I will give it a 7 because, I remember seeing a few of these when I was younger, and because of the bad taste, either 3 or 4 was so awful that it left a bad taste in my mouth. In my head, I remembered it as the sequels suck, and this one's actually not bad.
Pretty good.
It's a good story. It's decently acted. The special effects are good. You know, the others were made straight to video, and I think there's a reason
it kind
for
of
that.
shows.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, you don't know, but from
No,
from my memory.
There's 9 of them. I think it kind of shows.
I mean, yeah. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
So,
So
we
7,
agree? 7. Yeah.
Yeah. And now, the stuff on the side of the screen.
Ah, yes.
Hey,
I like that stuff.
Yeah. You can watch this show on Fact TV channel at 1082, Thursdays at 8:30 p.m. and Fridays at 7 p.m.
That's awesome. Hello to any Keene viewers, by the way.
Yeah,
'cause
Keene.
I know they've been over there for a while.
Keene is in the ha.
Also, you can like us on Facebook. And when I say us, please go to Facebook, type in Fact TV, like their page too.
Oh, yeah.
They live stream a bunch of stuff. It's a pretty cool little community. But also like Gory Storytime's page.
That's us. And you can go to fact8.com and watch a bunch of the back episodes of this show, Gory Storytime, and
other stuff.
A lot of other stuff.
Like, for a while, there's been a lot of people in this town that actually have stuff to say.
They come in and they do
produce.
things.
And it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
It's not just a bulletin board like some community TV.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, you can follow me on X. I'm at Craig Jakes, all one word, all lowercase.
I'm at Jiggly Firmbrain. I only tweet things that he says that I find funny in or out of context, usually out of context.
And of course, go to YouTube, type in Gory Storytime, like, subscribe, smash the notification bell, comment,
bell.
share, all those cool things. Because what'll come up is Fact TV's page. Do that for them.
Whatever's
and
hip.
it'll be the Gory Storytime page. Do that for us.
Is the term hip anymore?
What?
Hip.
No.
No?
That died before you were born.
Huh.
That was before my time.
Hip was before your time?
Yeah.
Yikes. Well, I couldn't have heard it before your time.
But it wasn't.
Well, anyway.
You never heard me say that, dog.
Legs work or whatever to do. Until next time, I've been your host, Jason.
I'm his co-host and his father, Craig.
And sweet dreams.